Welcome to the Tangelo House apartment buildings. This beautiful 1920 structure is being painstakingly preserved and reconstructed by Mr. Garrett Puzzo as a modern housing complex to serve the citizens of Vero Beach. We've had the honor of investigating this building several times over the past year or so, and the investigation you're going to see tonight is one of them. So let's go talk to the owner, Mr. Garrett Puzzo, right now and get a history behind this luxurious building. Garrett, I appreciate you being here today to share with us the history of what we call the Tangelo Apartments. But can you share a little bit about its background?
Sure. Back in 1926, there were actually 4 of these buildings built all at the same time. This was completed October of 1926, and the other 3 were completed shortly thereafter. The building is going on the National Historic Register, and the original name was River Apartments. So it took a little bit of history. It is the oldest apartment building in Royal Park subdivision. And the architect, if you will, actually designed the Indian River County Courthouse, which is also on the National Historic Register.
Now, when you say the area that it was built in, here in Vero Beach, correct?
Here in Vero Beach, yes.
Okay.
Yep. Which wasn't originally Vero Beach, as you know, Larry.
It was Vero until 1925.
Right.
And then became Vero
And
Beach.
so as we were doing some research, we found an old brochure from 1930 that showed about 16 apartment buildings that were for rent, either weekly or monthly. And this is one of the few remaining that are still on that brochure.
And that's amazing because I passed by this building hundreds of times over the years, and it was boarded up for the longest time. How did you come to acquire this building, and how did you manage to get it to where it is today, where it's coming back to life?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. Lots of sleepless nights. This was boarded up for 10 and a half, almost 11 years, and I had my eye on it, as many people did. But we also own 2 other buildings in town. One was built in 1925, the Virginia House, and the Royal Viking, which was built by the same developer and architect, Royal Viking, also on Royal Palm Boulevard. So when it came on the market, one of our friends called up and said, "Garrett, that building you wanted is for sale." And I immediately came over and said, "I'll buy it right now." And the guy said, "You're crazy." Everyone said to run away. They really were trying to find someone that would put, we'll call, lipstick on the pig and sell it, flip it. This is a long-term type of proposition, if you will. No one's restoring the old buildings that Vero Beach has. So my wife and I, we love old buildings. This is our 4th or 5th one, but the biggest one that we took on. And as you know, COVID occurred.
That's right.
Inflation hit, so our costs went through the roof and everything else. But at the end of the day, it'll be a higher end type of building. We're putting back as much original as we possibly can. And so we're excited about it. We should be done in about 2.5, 3 months.
Well, now you live on the other side of the state near Sarasota, correct?
Correct.
But you're a Vero native.
I grew up in Vero Beach, graduated Vero Beach High School, and we love Vero's home. It hasn't changed, even though it has, but it really hasn't. When we come here, our blood pressure goes down, and we get to relax. And this is just really our way of contributing to the community and doing something we love at the same time.
And you're certainly giving back to the city and the community, bringing this wonderful building back to life. But it does have another side to it, and that's how I got involved.
That is true.
Can you kind of share how you and I got together?
So the very first time I walked through the building, I experienced something. And in fact, the easiest way for me to describe it, if you've ever gone into a place that had a lot of fleas and all the fleas jumped on you at one time and all the hair on your legs stand up in your arms, and that's what happened to me as I walked through one of the rooms. And you were recommended to me, and you came out and said, "Garrett, tell me what room." And I said, "Larry, I'm not going to tell you. You need to find out." And lo and behold, almost every apartment has activity, which is very nice.
It's been an interesting place.
Yeah.
I'm particularly interested in the fact that you were at another local hotspot where I actually do tours out of,
Correct.
And just mentioned to the folks there, you know, I've got this thing going on, and that's how you got my name.
Your name came up immediately, immediately.
And it's been a match ever since. We've enjoyed being here. We've certainly gotten some incredibly interesting things out here. And I think it's important to mention that in our very first most haunted venue on the Treasure Coast contest, it was the Tangelo Apartments that won.
Yes, we did, 2022.
So very, very excited about that. And we're back tonight. We're going to be doing some more work, and excited to see what else we're going to find out.
I think you'll find a lot of things. I think I'll tell you the one story real quick, was the time that you all called us back in.
Right.
And we said, well, how many people are in the room? And you were using the box.
The spirit box.
The spirit box,
right.
And it came across 10, 10, 10, loud as could be. Everybody
right.
heard it. And then I forget who, but one of the ladies said, well, there's 7 of us. Does that mean there's 3 of you? And it was like, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And that, I can tell you, we've had some friends of ours show up and come that were non-believers. And after experiencing what you and your team have put together, they've come to not only believe, but understand the communication between the past and now.
In the present.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about, finding the truth, connecting the past.
Correct.
So,
well, I'm excited for tonight, and
well, then let's
we'll
get
be
to
here.
it.
Absolutely.
All right,
Good
thanks.
deal.
All
Thank
right.
you.
$812 Tangelo House. Have Sherry, Jill, Spanky, Tina, Tom, Garrett, and Mark all here. And
The other owner of the building.
yes.
So this is our command post, and we set up all of our cameras from here. We have 2 separate digital recording systems, and it allows us up to 10 cameras into any particular venue. What we do is we monitor throughout the night, not only where our teams are, but also especially where our teams aren't. So what we're looking for is anything visually that's going across the camera, shadows, lights, anything that looks like an orb or that we can debunk as dust. And then I also will listen to some of those cameras to see if there's anything going on where I can hear anything that's happening during the sessions.
Now Tony can be either a male or a female.
You don't understand?
No, I don't. Are you a female or a male?
So if you can take those rods, if you're a male, and spread them apart, and if you're a female...
What do you think?
I think you're a female.
Yeah, I think Tony's a female too.
I think Tony's a female because...
Just the sassiness.
Tony, did you date someone who lived here? If so, please cross the rods.
Wow, that was fast.
Tony, was that relationship good or was it a bad relationship? Open the rods for good.
Not getting it.
Is that person still here too?
My rods are going in no. No.
Ooh.
Okay, thank you.
This is me.
Yeah, you're to my right on the camera.
Right, so it's sitting. Spanky's in the doorway now.
Oh, it just started mapping you. Oh, now it's mapping Jill.
One of the most exciting pieces of equipment that we use in our investigations is the structured light censored camera, also known as the SLS camera. It's software that comes from the Microsoft company and was used in the Xbox games. The easiest way to describe it was the games that you would play on your TV, where you would hold some sort of controller in your hand and you would play tennis on the TV screen, and you would have an avatar of yourself on the TV screen. Well, what eventually started happening was people started seeing other figures popping up there in the form of stick figures. Not knowing who that was, they thought that was a glitch in the machine. The truth of the matter is, it was picking up something that nobody else could see.
Make any sense? Want me to stand up?
Now they're
So it's not
backwards, too.
mapping Jill, it's mapping something right there.
They're backwards.
Because
I know.
Right.
Okay.
So it's not picking up me, it's picking up
Now
something
it's
there.
like it's off
I
the floor.
see you, I see Tina, it's over there.
So this...
Since you're over there, can you do me a favor? Can you raise your hand to say hi? We'll be able to see you on that camera that they're holding.
Wave your right hand.
Yes, wave your right hand. Is it still there?
Mm-hmm.
What the heck was that noise from that spirit box?
Yeah.
Spanky, walk around the corner. Come back. Come in here.
It's weird that it's not mapping Jill.
Ready to watch. Step in. Walk closer to us. Let me see him.
Yeah, there's something not right. No, that's Spanky.
That's Spanky.
Okay, will
That's
you back
Spanky.
up a little bit again and go... Alright, can you come back? If that was somebody that's standing in the doorway, will you come back again, please?
And wave at us.
We just wanted to make sure that was you.
Nothing. It does nothing. Maps.
Nothing that it would map or...
No, that's why I went.
Oh.
Okay, now it's mapping something that's not there. It's not Spanky.
And,
It's not the chair.
and according to the purple thing, it would be in that part of that window to
Is
the
it trying
ceiling.
to map the wall?
No.
Is
Is he trying to map the shadow of his hat? There? No, he just moved, so no.
It's moving too. and
We
it's
can
not
see
like
you. Can you do
fluttering,
me a favor?
It's moving slow.
Oh, you're
It's
reaching out. You're
reaching out.
touching. What are you touching? You touching her jacket?
Try this thing.
You can have the jacket. Lift it off the chair.
I'm gonna come a little bit closer to you. If I reach out my hand, would you reach your hand out to mine? Would that be okay? I'll be very gentle. I'm gonna step into your space and I'm reaching my hand out. Can you hold my hand?
Looks like it's holding your face.
You're touching the top of your head.
Yeah.
You can touch my head if you want.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Can you hold my hand?
Okay, guys, so we're here to talk about our last trip to the Tangelo Apartments in Vero Beach on the 18th of February. It was kind of an interesting night. We had our new trainees there. I spent most of the night with the new trainees working with them, and you guys conducted the business at hand. So Spanky, can you kind of lead us down the road where what we had and what we found?
Started out in the front room in the front bottom apartment. And in there, I was doing Estes method with the Soundbox 11, and Sherry was behind me doing dowsing rods. And during that session, from the questions, a lot of answers were given to us.
Did you live in this building?
Yeah. Both with the rods and the SB11.
So you had the earphones on, and as usual, the noise canceling, so you couldn't hear the questions at all.
Hear any of the questions. Also here, I'm seeing Jill had a battery drain too on one of the devices.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that was on your phone, was it? Yeah. That's when we brought out the SLS camera, and Tom was instrumental in bringing it and putting it in and starting to use that camera.
Okay, and so Tom, you were videotaping,
Correct.
and then you brought the SLS camera. Tell us how that happened. Tell us what occurred there.
So what ended up happening was I was videotaping Tina, and she was talking, taking notes, and then she started complaining about she felt like she was getting drained.
Okay.
I almost feel like something's using my energy. I
Getting drained?
feel- Yes.
Are you using Tina's energy? We ask you not to do that. We have other equipment that you're more than welcome to use.
And then that's when I said, it's weird because my camera has a face detection on it. So then I noticed that the face detection was 1.5 feet above her head.
Well, let me ask you a question. Was the face detection on her prior to that?
Yes.
And then it suddenly moved
the whole
up?
time. And
Okay.
then it was just above her. And that's when I was like, huh. And when she made the comment that, hey, she felt like she was getting drained, that's when Sherry asked Jill to go get the SLS camera. So they brought that into play. And then when they brought that into play, that's when we started videotaping the entity that came up. You can see clearly as day on the video, you'll see Jill sitting off to the side. And you got to remember that the SLS camera is actually flipped. It's reversed on the camera that we look at. So you see Jill sitting in the side there, and there's no detection on her. But Tina has been detected. You can see her there. and then you see another entity next to it. And next thing you know, it starts to get above her, and it bounces all over the place, and it just sits there for a while, and then it goes away. And we were like, wow. And we tried to debunk it.
So let me make sure I've got this right. So you catch your camera focusing on something above Tina. You notice then shortly thereafter a figure.
Right.
And then you start calling people in to see if the camera will pick them up. Is that what the idea was?
Correct.
And all the time you're asking questions.
Constantly.
Okay.
And it's like one's standing, one's sitting, right? Or one's small and one's tall.
It doesn't make any sense.
Want me to stand up?
Now they're
So it's not
backwards, too.
mapping Jill, it's mapping something right there.
They're
Right.
backwards.
Because
I
they're-
know.
Right.
Okay.
So it's not picking up me, it's picking up
Now
something
it's
there.
like it's off the
I
floor.
see you, I see Tina, it's over there.
It started picking up. Some people came into the room, it picked them up, and then the camera went back to another entity, and it kept locking on the entity. So we would couldn't debunk it.
Oh, did you see anything above Tina or Jill after that the SLS camera could have been mapping that would explain that figure?
No, there was nothing above them at all. It was just a room. It's an empty room.
Okay.
And also, Larry, with that, during that time, Jill was playing music from the 70s and 20s and
Right.
30s.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things was, does this music make you want to dance?
Matter of fact, yes, the entity actually started dancing too.
So it was moving in time to the music.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's pretty significant.
Yeah.
Good job. Good catch.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Anything else on the first floor for that round?
No, that was it.
Okay. So then we headed up to the second floor.
Yes.
What did we have there?
So then we moved upstairs to the first apartment, and Sherry was doing the Estes method on the spirit box, and that's where we listened to the headphones, and she can't hear our questions. And
Through the spirit
through the
box.
spirit box. So whatever she hears, she tells us.
Okay.
So we're up there and we were asking questions, and she yells out the word cute. And I'm like, who's cute? Nothing happened. I said, can you take these rods that I'm holding? I was using the dowsing rods. And I said, can you please take these and point to the person you think is cute? And my rods moved, and Mr. Puzzo was next to me. He was using his rods, and they pointed to the camera person, Erica. So that was kind of fun. She was a little freaked out about that. But we had good answers up there. But Sherry's sitting outside the hallway, and she yells out, either move to another room or I'm in the front room, something towards that effect.
Mhm.
So that's when we moved into the front room.
Okay.
And we had more answers coming from that room than we did from the first room, which was really neat. Again, I was doing rods. Mr. Puzzo was on rods. And,
Mr. Puzzo being the owner of the.
Yes.
Okay.
and Sherry was doing still on the Estes box, the Estes method on the spirit box in the corner. And we were asking questions, and we said, did you live here? And we got no as an answer.
Mhm.
And we said, okay, did you come visit here, date someone here? And it went to yes. So I was like, okay. So we're like, are you a man? And then Sherry's answering the questions, and she sort of had an attitude, and it didn't answer male, female, anything like that. But she had like a sassy attitude, like she comes back with, I don't care.
Now, did you actually hear it like that?
That's how she heard it.
So she was basically mimicking exactly what she heard on the. Okay.
Mimics the way she hears it. So it's not just a yes or no question. However, she hears it come through is how she voices it to us.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's how we all believed it was a woman.
Sounds like we got some pretty interesting stuff with some pretty interesting answers. Does anybody else have anything they want to add before I kind of share my experiences?
No, I think we've covered most of it.
Okay. Well, as you know, we were training some of our new recruits during that evening. I spent most of the evening with them, but I did manage to get out with the SLS camera several times. And the first time I was actually coming up to the second floor, and as I was as I was coming up the stairs, I turned and looked to the left, and the SLS camera clearly picked up a figure. Now, looking at it later, I found there was nothing in that wall that the camera could have been mapping on. So I'm sitting there and I'm taping it, and unfortunately a team member walked by and the individual, the picture went away. Waited for a couple seconds, refocused it, and then the figure returned. But this time the figure it appeared to be on their knees, as if they were looking at me through the banister rails. And we were attempting I was taping it on the SLS camera, and we had a malfunction, and the camera erased what I had on there. But it was very, very significant, so I wanted to make that mention to all of you also. Now, when we were doing the second round on the second floor, I think all of us were in the room up there. I think we even had the new recruits up there with us at the same time. Mr. Puzzo, the owner of the property, had invited his wife and a few family members over. They were watching this last session, and there was a young lady just outside the door of the living area in this apartment, almost into where the kitchen was. And she suddenly became very dizzy and apparently passed out. Now, we can explain that a couple of different ways. Maybe she didn't have enough to eat. Maybe she got overly excited. But that's not what really threw me. What really got me was when we went to her, it was the look on her face that really concerned me, because she had almost like a smile on her face, saying that she was all right, everything was fine, but it looked surreal. Being in law enforcement for many years, Spanky, firefighter for many years, you know what somebody looks like when they've passed out, they get paid off. Didn't see that with this. In fact, one of the new recruits is an EMT, and she concurred. It didn't appear to be anything like she had just fainted. And the look on her face was very, very surreal to me. And I still can't to this day place it. I've never seen anything like it. Was it something paranormal? I don't know. But I've seen many people pass out, and it just didn't look like that to me. So I found that very, very interesting.
Now, let me ask you this, Larry. When she left the building, how did she feel?
Excellent question. We immediately, as our protocol says, we immediately removed her from the building. She was fine right away. I've checked back up several times afterwards. No residual effects, no lasting effects. She was fine. In fact, I talked to her that night before she left, and she felt fine. I determined that she had eaten, so that was not an issue. She did not say she was exceptionally distraught or anxious during that part of the interview section. So once again, none of it seems to correlate with somebody who might have, passed out for a reason we would expect. Don't know what to say, certainly not suggesting anything, but Tina, now you had an incident during this investigation where you also felt rather lightheaded, correct?
Correct. I was taking notes, and just out of nowhere, all of a sudden, I just felt completely drained. And that's when Tom had mentioned that he had caught something on the SLS camera standing above me.
Okay, so, and can you tell us, did you feel like you were going to pass out or anything?
I didn't feel like I was going to pass out. It just felt like every bit of all my energy just was gone. And as a matter of fact, I even felt a mild headache.
Well, it looks like we had a pretty significant night there. It was a great night to work with our new trainees on. We're real happy to have them aboard. And so we got a lot of exciting things came out of that. I'm sorry Sherry and Nikki couldn't be with us today. They're both out of town, unfortunately, as is Mark and Val. But they were all an integral part of that entire evening. Is there anything else that you guys can think of that we need to know for this roundtable?
No, I believe we've covered all of it.
All right. Well, you guys, as usual, did a terrific job. Very well done, well documented. So I want to compliment you on your hard work. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you the next time.
Yep.